If Trump wants to win in 2024, if he just wants to win and he wants to circumvent any democracy that will eventually take place, because Democrats are very good at democracy, he picks RFK Jr. as vice president. Now, for people new to the channel, hit subscribe. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post. This was a long time ago, in 2015 and 2016. The Washington Post said I was the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters. Okay, Bernie Sanders, probably a very good human being, wonderful grandfather, all that. Good person, but a fake and a phony in terms of politics. Took me a couple of years to realize that Donald Trump was the real deal. Record low poverty. Record highs in household median income in 2019. His policies, the tax cuts, for example, led to that. We wouldn't have had record low poverty with Clinton, just like we don't have record low poverty. Poverty has gone up with Biden. But if Trump wants to win, he does not pick DeSantis. He picks RFK Jr. Now, if RFK Jr. was offered the vice presidency or to be Trump's vice president, I really do think that he would take it. Yes, he's a Democrat, but that doesn't matter nowadays because the Democratic Party doesn't accept him. They will never let him be victorious, just like they never let Bernie Sanders, okay? They cheated Bernie Sanders, just like they will do the same thing, they will do the same thing to RFK Jr. There is zero chance, and I say this with sadness, not glee. I say this as this is a testament to how corrupt the Democratic Party is and how sinister politics in this country is. They will never in a million years allow Bernie Sanders or RFK Jr. And Bernie, by the way, was a tool of the Democratic Party. People vote for Bernie Sanders on the left to get funneled back into the Democratic Party that floods 200 million barrels of strategic petroleum reserves into the country, presides over greater poverty, does nothing to prevent a never-ending military conflict in Europe. The Tim Pool debate, his opponent said, well, they were invaded. Yeah. Do you think Biden did anything to stop the invasion? Do you think there were any efforts to prevent the hostilities? Even Macron in France tried. Zero effort because Democrats wanted the military quagmire, okay? So, yeah, Trump is the obvious anti-war candidate. So is RFK Jr. If he wants to win, he takes Democrats from the Democratic Party in 2024. They will vote for Trump and RFK Jr., okay? There's not a Democrat on the planet. Well, there may be a handful of Democrats on the planet who would vote for Trump and DeSantis. But there are about 20% of Democrats, maybe 15%, who would vote for Trump and RFK Jr. They wouldn't tell their friends or family because they'd be disowned. Because that's how Democrats roll. They disown friends and family because it's a cult. And a lot of the people are very proud to be atheists, fine. Christopher Hitchens, I love Christopher Hitchens. But you don't replace. He never replaced religion with politics, and so what people do today is they replace religion. They say, "Oh, well, you know what? I'm not. Yeah. Oh, I'm an atheist. Oh, okay. Do you think that Trump worked with the Kremlin? Yeah, the Steele dossier said so. So did John Brennan, and that's what the intel agency said. They were high to moderately confident. It's like, well, you've replaced your faith. It's better to, in my view, it's better to have faith that God exists than faith in intel agencies or unnamed sources or people familiar with the matter or former, current, and U.S. officials, all the anonymously sourced and cited accusations and allegations against Trump. It's better to have faith in God than faith in a political apparatus leveled against RFK Jr. and Trump. And if you look at RFK Jr., why is he banned in social media? Why is Trump banned in social media? Because they either tell the truth, because I agree with RFK Jr. on most things, and Trump on most things. Okay, they actually disagree on some things, minute things. Well, I just say minute, but they have more in common. RFK Jr. has more in common with Trump and vice versa. than RFK Jr. has with Biden, okay? And this is my viewpoint on foreign policy and economic policy. You can say, well, there are a lot of differences, and probably RFK Jr. would say, well, there are a lot of differences that I have. That might be the case, but we had record low poverty with Trump and record highs in household median income. Hit subscribe, by the way, to this channel right now. If Trump wants to, and the channel is a bit slow now, this could get to either 5, 6, 7, 8,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 views. Who knows? Or more. But share this segment, because if Trump wants to win, then he picks RFK Jr. And I think that RFK Jr. would accept. Here's the thing. If the Republican Party doesn't accept that or gives him problems, there's leverage that Trump has. See, the Mitt Romneys of the world, the Liz Cheneys, the people who want to take the Lincoln Project, another example of how militant the Democratic Party is, they vote Democrat. If the Chris Christies of the world have a problem with Trump picking RFK Jr. instead of DeSantis or anyone else, simply ask, do you know that, let's say it's Biden versus Chris Christie or Nikki Haley or DeSantis. Biden would defeat DeSantis. He would easily defeat DeSantis. Who is DeSantis' running mate? Who? Lindsey Graham? Who? And so DeSantis by himself is not the star of a movie. Okay, Trump and RFK Jr. have star power, if you want to use that term or analogy. Okay, there's no way that DeSantis even comes close, because the difference is that RFK Jr. and Donald Trump can withstand endless negative media, and still there will be Americans with critical thinking skills that know very well that media is an extension of the Democratic Party and simply wants to silence and ignore and limit any discussion regarding the ideas of those two. Their ideas are a huge problem for Democrats. They don't have, when Democrats lose a debate, they point to and appeal to authority. Then when let's say authority doesn't agree with them, they say, well, okay, that study or that poll that was a conservative, or so. For example, there's a study that says Medicare for all is not feasible. Oh, well, it's linked to conservatives. So any appeal to authority or any appeal to any evidence, if it's in any way, shape, or form, tarnished by a conservative, then it's never good to prove their side wrong on anything. The issue, ladies and gentlemen, is that they don't have any ideas that stand on their own. RFK Jr. and Trump, you can just look at the things that they're saying and the things that Biden is saying. Biden, can you understand what he's saying? That's the question. You look at what Trump and RFK Jr. stand for. And the interesting thing is, a lot of the things they stand for is they're banned on social media for a reason, because there's no rebuttal. Why was Trump banned for 2 years? Okay, why was RFK Jr. kicked off, I think, Instagram, and then you always have his videos that, you see some of it, but not all of it? Why? Because when they speak, there is an element of suspicion that you feel towards the people that ban them. And Democrats and government and media don't want any suspicion of distrust leveled their way. They can't form a rebuttal. So there's no rebuttal to RFK Jr. There's no rebuttal to Trump. There are a million fact checks and a million this. But at the end of the day, they silence Trump and RFK Jr. Why? Because Trump and RFK Jr. tell the truth. Or they form a compelling enough argument to get people to truly distrust the prevailing mentality on a lot of things. And if the mainstream and prevailing mentality, oh my God, you have the wonderful, highly educated, morally superior liberal Democrats, many of whom are atheists, who are just so intelligent, who can't possibly agree that the prevailing mentality could be wrong on a lot of things. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. If Trump wants to win, he knows what he has to do.